my man.
Oh man, what's good? What's good? What's good? We are back. This is season 2. This is episode 2. We are talking about men's health, men's mental health. This is Meaningful Discussions. Like I said in the first episode, man, we're good to be back. We took a little hiatus and everything, like we talked about in the first episode. Gave y'all an update. Today we're gonna really get into a good discussion. But before we do, you know what I'm saying? How you doing? You good? Yeah.
Yeah. Life is doing what life does, and I have had quite a great little piece of adventure since our last season. But yeah, I'm pretty sure some of that'll come up in discussions that we have on further episodes. So yeah.
Yeah, we definitely talked about it a little bit, you know what I'm saying, on the first episode, coming back. And like I said, we good, we happy to be back. This is episode 2, Meaningful Discussions. We are back, season 2, and today we are talking about men's health. All right. So when we talking about men's health, what are we talking about? We're not talking about like working out and exercising, even though that is actually a very important thing. So please, make sure you get your water in. I got my water right here. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you have enough water. Make sure you can get checks up and everything like that. But we're talking about the mental portion of things, the stuff that we kind of don't get to talk about. Kind of feel vulnerable talking about, kind of feel afraid about talking about it. Some cases, especially with straight men, a lot of times we feel like, I ain't gonna say we feel that it's soft, but a lot of times we get treated as if we are vulnerable, like we're soft, you know what I'm saying? So it kind of like makes us kind of go back into a shell, into a cave and kind of hide and cater those feelings, and they end up coming out in another kind of way, you know what I'm saying, when it's not really healthy to be like that.
Right.
But go
It can
ahead.
be very destructive to one's whole life to, how could I say, suppress emotional and mental everything. Like, we go through life, we have these traumatic situations happen, and because we're men, people tell you to suck it up or, man up or whatever, what have you. And the problem with all of that is you're not addressing the problem at hand. And when you don't address an issue, it tends to linger like a virus. And as it grows and festers, it becomes something that deteriorates the body. And as much as people don't realize that, a lot of these mental suppressions are what causes a lot of physical body ailments and illnesses. So you may think that the things that you go through do not affect your physical health because I go to the gym and I do this and I do that. But in reality, not addressing those things that mess with your mental, it can definitely affect your physical. And I've seen it happen because people that I know that are straight athlete, always in the gym, I run triathlons, marathons, whatever, what have you, them boy died at the age of 30, 40 years old.
Cardiac arrest type stuff.
Cardiac arrest.
Stress is a killer. Stress will actually kill you.
Right. And then I know other people smoking, drinking, and everything else for their whole life, live to 80. So you gotta address those issues, get those things out, and make sure you attack those issues and come to some type of solution or rapport to that issue that will give you peace of mind, because peace of mind gives the body enough to be cool and can survive these worldly whatevers that come.
First things first, you got to find your safe space. You got to find your safe space, someplace that you feel comfortable, and don't be afraid of feeling vulnerable. And I know in most cases, and I can speak, for a certain type of men. where people felt like vulnerable and have been taken advantage of. You know what I'm saying? It don't even matter who it is. You know what I'm saying? So you have it's same things that happen to women. It happens to men also. Where you want to let your hair down and be like, oh yeah, this happened to me. You know, someone, oh, you can lay your head over here. You know, that's a real thing. So a lot of times people be kind of like standoffish about letting their emotions out, and also in cases you have been in places where you kind of you felt like you was in a safe space and you let your hair down and the person used it against you. And they, now they calling you a softie, you know what I'm saying, or whatever the case may be, anything to jagger your ego, because the main thing that makes us men is our ego. Like a lot of folks would be telling you not to have an ego, but that's just like telling you not to have nutsack. Like, so excuse my French, but it's really a part of our makeup. It's a science thing. Like, and I hate having to say that, but it seems like when people hear science, they kind of calm down. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, it's not even that it's a scientific thing. It's like I said earlier, what we've been instilled with. It's what people make us have.
Yeah.
Like they tell you when they say the man up thing, they make you have an ego.
Yeah.
Because there are some people that grow up and they're not told to man up. Some people that are, when they have an issue, their parents actually sit down and talk to them and address that shit. And they're not ego. They're really humble people. And they're usually people that achieve more in life because they don't have the ego. People that have the egos, they usually ruin things with that ego because it's too much of an ego. Now, I'm not saying not to have an ego at all.
It's a balance.
Definitely have some self-confidence in yourself or whatever, but don't overcompensate when you know that you're just doing that to cover up your vulnerability.
You gotta know when to draw back. That's why I say, like, be smart enough, mentally smart enough, emotionally smart enough, emotionally aware enough to know where your safe space at. And when you have that safe space, once you actually, let your guard down, it's a balance. You know what I'm saying? Don't completely, just go straight all out, having whole crying sessions and stuff. I mean, if you need it, it's whatever, if that's what you need, that's what you need. I ain't
Everybody
judging.
needs a good cry from time to time.
I'm
not going to lie to you, because there are times when I've had people in my family die and people would tell me, stop crying, don't cry. But it
Sometimes
was
you gotta cry.
a loss. Like, people cry when they lose animals. So if you lose a pet and cry, I can't cry because I lost my grandma, because I lost my brother, because I lost my great granddad. I can't cry. But y'all will cry because your bird died. You'll cry because your cat died. Like,
we just gotta understand that. Listen, we're all humans. You know what I'm saying? And if we get to a point where it's like, if we talking about really like actual equality, that means it goes on both ends.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So the same emotions, the same feelings that you have is the same feelings that we may have, And I get it, you know what I'm saying? Women might want their man to be a certain type of way, you know what I'm saying? Hell, I mean, it's 2024, a man might want his man a certain type of way. However, you gotta allow people to have those moments. You gotta, if you love somebody and you care for somebody, you gotta allow them to have that emotional moment. I can get it. You don't want nobody to wallow in their sadness, so you do want to cheer them up. But it's 7 days in a week. You know what I'm saying? That don't mean you gotta be weak for 7 days. You know what I'm saying? But take hey, that was kind of fire, didn't it? You know what I'm saying? But take 2 of those days to allow that person to, like, let it all out, purify yourself, and just really, really reflect, let that energy out. You know what I'm saying? Don't be afraid. It's emotions, it's ours. You know what I'm saying? But don't be Mr. Angry. Don't be mad at everything all the time. Sometimes you get some things that you want to cry about. Let it out. You know what I'm saying? Some things you might want to yell about. Let it out. You know what I'm saying? But don't let it get to the point where you're using it against people. You know what I'm saying? So it's a balance. Like, that's what we're talking about.
Right.
Because some people do. There's some people out there that use that shit against folks. You know what I'm saying? They cry about everything. You know what I'm saying? There's some folks want to scream about everything. You know what I'm saying? So you got to know the balance.
Right.
It's okay to let it out. Just know where your safe space at. Know when to draw back. Know when to let go. That's it, man. You got anything else?
No, not really. I mean, in terms of men's mental health, and I have a problem with a lot of holidays, right? For whatever reason, so many holidays are packed into our society, and it bothers me because I remember a time when it was like a holiday a month.
Yeah.
Now it's like each month encumbers 3, 4 different things. So with June that just passed, it was supposed to be men's mental health, the LGBT Pride Month, and then you had something else going on in that
Assure
month.
is one thing too for the Islamic community.
Okay, so it was a few things going on, and I was depressed to an extent of not seeing enough men's mental health things on social media. Like everyone was talking about Pride Month, even the heterosexuals. Like, OMG, if heterosexuals didn't talk about gay shit the entire month, like it was so much. And I was like, but y'all act like y'all despise certain things and y'all talked about it so much. And it's not like they don't talk about it all year, because they talk about it all year. But whoa, Pride Month, I understand it was Pride Month, but there were other things going on in June that you could have addressed. And the lack of men's mental health situations, events, where was it?
I also got a question. I thought October was Pride Month.
Pride is year round, okay? Let's start there. Martin Luther King's birthday is not a Pride holiday. They have Pride on Labor Day. Like, Pride is year round. Let's just go ahead and leave that out there. Them bitch will have a Pride parade in the middle of Christmas.
Now you do have to give a disclaimer. I'm not trying to put your business out there, but you got, because like the people. Listen, I'm not saying this. If
What?
this is my thing. Like you said, how can we literally express anything if everything is shared?
This is the problem I have.
You can, like, it's
Everything should be shared.
like, okay. Talk. I mean, let me talk to
But
me.
see, the problem is everyone feels like their part or purpose is more important than everyone else's purpose, and it's not. Everyone has a purpose, and everyone should be able to have their purpose addressed to the same extent as every other purpose.
Okay.
If I'm doing men's mental health, it should tie into the Pride Month of it all. It shouldn't be, oh, it's Pride Month, we're just going to all be naked and run in the streets. It should be, okay, it's Pride Month, we are all going to come together in Pride Month and Men's Mental Health Month and make sure that we give an understanding that, hey, this is what it is, but we're going to come together and make sure that both of these things are addressed.
So you're saying both? Okay, it goes back to what I had said in previous episodes when I talked about the whole coexisting. Like when I said, what have happened to coexist? I remember growing up, I used to see a lot of stickers on cars that said coexist. I remember going in class when I was in school, in high school, and a lot of my friends had these, like a lot of my golf friends had these little stickers where it's like a bunch of like religious symbols that was like put together, but it made the word coexist, where it was just basically saying no matter whatever is your creed, your religion, your nationality, whatever it is that you believe in, we can coexist.
Right.
And I've always preached about that. You know what I'm saying? I've always been in that mindset where it's like whatever it is that you got going on, that's your business.
Right.
Because whatever you do behind closed doors has nothing to do. What you eat don't make me shit. Excuse my French, but it's the truth. What you eat don't have nothing to do with me. That has something to do with you and what makes you happy, what your body wants. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with me. What I decide to consume has nothing to do with you because it ain't gonna affect you. You know?
So with that being said, it all comes down to how Aretha said, RESPECT. Like, just respect each other in their respective places and not try to make it seem like because no one is on what you're on, that they don't respect you where you are and you have to make your point. No one cares what your point is. I promise you. You're the only person that cares about your point.
And to tie it in our main subject when we was talking about men's mental health, to tie it all in, that's it's kind of like what you said is usually like what we're told, but it's like it's taken in the wrong terms.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Most
no
of the
one
times.
cares. Yeah, you got to suck it up and deal with it, but at the same time, like I say, to tie it all in, at the same time, you got to know when to draw back, know when to let it out, because it is your problems, it's your issues. So that's
Right.
truth.
And you
in
don't have
that.
to suck it up. You need to address it and get to a solution for that issue. Like, that's not what we're saying either. We're not saying just suck it up and just be whatever. No, address your issues. But when it comes down to someone else's respectable place
Right.
on that topic, respect that. Just because they don't agree with what you're saying doesn't mean you have to force your issue or whatever onto someone else. Like, they're not going to be on the same level that you're on with that particular issue. And you've got to be okay with that.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's your journey and you have to deal with that. But deal with it. Don't just suppress it.
I mean, it goes back to our first episode with the Spengler episode. And we broke down the meaning of Spengali is when somebody is trying to force their thoughts, their meanings, their things on you and trying to make you be persuaded by their wants.
Right.
It's the same thing. I mean, the first season was just like that, where each episode tied into each other, and it's the same thing like this, because this is all a therapy session. And just to conclude, I want us all, not just men. I want us all, men and women, to get to a point where every place could be a safe place. You know what I'm saying? If somebody feels comfortable enough to express something around you or to let that guard down around you, that we embrace that. You know what I'm saying? Like every place, if we really, really, really want to stick back and be what Americans say we are, at some point we got to really call out a card, because we want to go around here and call these other places, these other nations, all these little things. But if you look at places like Canada shows so much love to each other. Like
Canadians show love to people that ain't even from
yeah,
there.
like they that's why we're not, I mean, if you go back to the not like us thing, like we don't look at Canadians as aggressive people. We look at Canadians as like loving people, because that's their energy.
Right.
I mean, you got to think about it. It's so many different nationalities, races, and religions in Canada. Like
all that.
And they just they literally just live and coexist.
Yeah,
like Canada is really what America is trying to embody. And I'm not saying that doesn't make me anti-American. That's just making me. I'm trying to pull out a card. If we want to be who we actually saying we are, and saying we together and all this little stuff like that, let's get to a point where we can be like our little brothers, if that's what we want to call them. Let's be like them. Let's get to a point where we can all celebrate and be happy together, because what you eat don't make me shit.
Right.
And that's all I gotta say for that.
And I mean, we pretty much said everything, but I just want to say this. When it comes down to it all, men's mental health is important, but it's just as important as every other issue in the world, is my whole point.
Yes.
So we addressed it because it was something that was kind of on both of our minds, where I felt like it wasn't enough attention given to it. And I really feel like there's never enough attention given to men's mental health, because of the way we are all brought up and the way that society has groomed men to just take and never be able to release any of that energy that they have brought on to themselves, because they're trying to be the stereotypical man.
There's a lot of brothers need hugs. And I'm not saying that to be funny. I'm being dead serious.
There's children in school right now, bro, that they're afraid to ask questions that would help them pass a test, because they're ashamed that they'll be ridiculed. And that's not cool. Like, I know a lot of young men that refuse to just talk about their issues and tell people what's going on in their heads. And then they grow up to be adults that don't know what to do with themselves because they have taken on all this trauma and had nowhere to release that negative energy. So let's please, by all means, if you see a man out there somewhere, and you can tell when you see a man that's not really doing good, I promise you, you can.
Yeah.
If you can just say, hey man, smile, you're loved, or something, give them something that could bring them some joy in their day, because we need it. We are desperately need our men to be able to know that someone sees them, someone cares, and someone empathizes with what they have been going through.
And you gotta think about it. We simple, you know what I'm saying? A simple, all right now. Like in the South, we all got a greeting where it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like you ain't gotta know the person. You walk past them like, all right now. And you're like, all right, how you doing now? And it's just that simple. And it's just that greeting and just that exchange is literally just enough. Just enough.
Because I ain't gonna lie, during Men's Mental Health Month, I saw a lot of folks that be like, hey boy, I see you, boy.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Yeah.
That was it, right?
Shit, yeah. So I mean, even today, when I was taking my grandma to the bus station or whatever, it was the guy that was in line behind her, and I was like, "Hey, bro, you know, can you do me a favor?" He was like, "What's up?" I said, "Look, I'm not gonna be on this trip with her. Can you watch out for my grandma?" He's like, "Man, it ain't nothing." And that right there, I don't know him from a can of paint, you know what I'm saying? But that right there was enough to just make me feel that comfort, because I know for a fact, even if he have a grandma, if he don't have a grandma, he still can respect that. You know what I'm saying? He helped her up the stairs to get on the bus when I was like, the handoff was perfect. You know what I'm saying? Just them simple little things like that is all we asking for. That's it.
Because we're here to coexist.
That's it. See y'all next time.
I wonder how I managed to end up in this place where I couldn't get away.